So to start, I want to talk about your last program. Okay. And in your last program, if I can find it, I picked a good one. But as far as stack, the header file and the implementation file, you didn't have to change that at all. That was done and set and ready for you to use. The only thing you had to do was write a demo to make it work. So some of you went crazy off the reservation on this, but I was looking for one of these where you do 2 pops, and if it's a plus, you add them and push it. If it's a subtraction, you subtract them and push it. Multiplication. So a bunch of that was, that's where you needed to do the work. And there was examples in the book that really tied on it. But stack, the header file, these 2 files were already done for you, ready for you to use. So when you got ready and ran the program, my hopes were that the program would look something like this. Okay, this is Anna's program. It's nice and easy to read. A lot of you still use the black screen of death. I downloaded her 4 files, clicked dev file, it loaded right up for me. But this is good. The only thing that I would have liked to have known is, do I enter it with spaces, without spaces, or it doesn't matter? So sometimes after your instructions, you might want to give just a little bit more information about how to enter it. But if I go 1, 2, plus 3, 4, minus, divide, this is what I was hoping would happen next. Token 1, push 2, pop 1, add them together, push 3. That's really a good program. And I'd say about half of you did just this. But this is, if I said to you, is this more user-friendly than yours? Like I said, about half of you. So I'm trying to set the bar where you folks should be when you're writing these programs. Okay. Once again, this is press C to continue. And, so this time I did 1 space 2 space plus space 3 space 4 space minus space slash. And it did in fact work again, because something was put in there to take care of the spaces, which I think is important as well. All right, questions on the last assignment. Now, a couple of you started doing this wait till the last minute and try to email me. Sunday night, not this class, but my other classes were hilarious. How many folks I had asking me at 8 o'clock Sunday night, do you have an office hour right now? Or are you online? Here's my program, I need help. 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, I was on for a couple hours during the day and I shut down Sunday night. I do have online classes, so I get on every day, but yeah, that didn't quite happen. All right, last class, we were working with the int queue, okay? The int queue. Int queue is array, queue in the array, okay? Let's see, Q is the first one in, is the first one out. So I'm thinking of a line at a grocery store. When I had the array, I added to the end. I added to the end of the line. I deleted from the front of the line. Okay. I need to have solid examples in my head so that, when it comes to test time, I know what I'm doing. If it's a linked list, adding to the end, okay, I needed a pointer to NQ, right? To add it to the end so I knew where the end was. And I needed my front so that when somebody left, I could get rid of them from the front. So I need to keep integer Q straight. I need to know, again, how does that differ from stacks and so on. Oh, that's an interesting camera. How about this one? So just going back to notes from the other day, yeah, when I didn't like the array version very much, because I started shifting and I got to the end and I needed to sort of wrap around. Another way to look at maybe is a circular wheel, and I keep just adding. I believe it was Matthew, your group that jumped on the mod real quick. And when you used mod, it helped with the wraparound. But otherwise, the rear just keeps crawling. And it's kind of funny to think the rear might be in front of the front, but keeping that straight in your head so that would work out. Good morning, Rashik. Okay, so going back to the int q, I had given that to you and I said, okay, fix the NQ and the DQ. Right? And hopefully you either got it correct, you got really close, and then you had to look in the book to figure it out. But till it's all said and done, you now have a working int queue. Just like we looked at having a working int stack so that I can use it, maybe modify it. There might be something that, I can add to my own personal one, but taking advantage of what's already written. The second part, and I shouldn't have given that to you on Thursday. I should have waited till today, is to do the NQ and the DQ for the dynamic int Q. That was the one, and it was actually a little bit easier. Instead of working with the arrays, we worked with the linked list. And how would I enter that Q and enter that DQ? Well, today, I'm not doing a whole lot of talking because I need you to be hands-on in an active learning situation to become really familiar with this. So the first thing I want you to do today is I want you to fix dynamic int Q. Like I said, some of you may have it done already. I should have waited, not given it there. I already made a note for next time I teach it, but to finish the NQ and the DQ for dynamic int stack, dynamic int Q. Once you have that done, today I'm going to give you some things that I want you to include in those classes. For example, here's an interesting one. Ask the user for an element and delete everything before it. Okay, so you might say, please enter a position in that line, the fourth position, and you would delete everybody in front of it. Basically, you're making that the head. Now, it would be nice if you could go through and use a destructor on all of those elements we're getting rid of. The next one I want you to do is be able to find the size. How many people are in line? Okay, you call size and you can see how many people there are. So basically you start at the front and just keep a count until you get to null. Always remember, I need to keep things in mind. For my dynamic int Q, I need to keep in mind there is no is full, but there is an is empty. Okay, once you get those two done, you're feeling good about dynamic int Q. I then want you to go back to the regular int Q. This one's with an array. Okay, what is the size of it? Is that something we're keeping track of as we go? And display, so add a new option to that class, a new function called size. I want you to include a function that returns the last, hey, who's down there at the end of this row or end of this line? And it could be what the last element is. And then finally, hey buddy, you over there, the fifth person in line. I saw you steal a candy bar. So if we were using names instead of numbers, we could return a name. Now, what would be the way to make our class, see if you remember this, able to handle different data types? If in the beginning I would do a what? 7-letter word. Starts with T.
Type def.
Type def, right? Imagine if I created this with a type def so that I could work with integers or doubles or strings or whatever I want to. But right now we're working with, this is the future. Nobody has a name. Everybody has a number kind of this. But anyhow, you got the idea. So for today, I want you to finish dynamic int q first. That's the NQ and the DQ. Again, if you have to, you can jump in the book and get them if you get stuck. Add a function to ask the user for an element, hey, go to the 5th spot and delete everybody before it. I don't know if I should call that an element. I should call that a location. Okay. What's the size? Get all that done. Jump back and add 3 functions to int q. What do you think? Cool? Okay.